Jit.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته أهلا وسهلا ومرحبا بكم. Welcome to this edition of the Jumu'ah Jewels. I know many of you would be saying, did Qari Yusuf change?
Yeah.
Is Qari Yusuf out of the scene, or where's Qari Yusuf? So maybe we should start something. Where's Qari Yusuf, or locate Qari Yusuf in the world? But I was asked to fill in for Qari Yusuf this Jumu'ah morning, inshallah. Qari Yusuf will be back, inshallah, very soon. And today I will be the host for the Jumu'ah Jewels, filling in for Qari Yusuf, inshallah. I hope I do it to the best of my ability, Maulana Yusuf Ravat.
No doubt at all. No doubt at all.
And I'd like to welcome my co-host this morning, as well as our HOD, my HOD of the Islamiyat department, Maulana Yusuf Ravat. Maulana Yusuf, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to all our live audience here, and to all our viewers and our students and our teachers and parents that are joining us for the first edition of Jumu'ah Jewels after Eid.
Yes, after Eid, after Ramadan. It's been a good 3-4 weeks, Maulana Yusuf, since the last Jumu'ah Jewel session.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time, but alhamdulillah, it's always good to be back, to be in your company on a Friday morning, early and fresh, at 8 o'clock in the morning on a Friday. Alhamdulillah, we start our Friday off on a very productive note, I would say, Maulana Yusuf. And alhamdulillah, all praise is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He has given us these tools and means for us to be in each other's company, yet we are all so far apart sometimes, yet we all spend the Friday morning together, alhamdulillah.
And we make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts all of our ibadat that we have performed and acted during the month of Ramadan. And I know for many, leaving the month of Ramadan was hard, so it's heartbreaking, but that's the system of life. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Ayyaman ma'dudat. It's only going to be here for a few days. Make the best of it and then use it as your training ground so that the rest of the year, inshallah, you then continue with that momentum and that energy and that vibrancy that you had during the month of Ramadan.
Definitely. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to hold that momentum for the rest of the year.
Ameen.
And perhaps reach the next Ramadan with a better momentum than this Ramadan, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Maulana Yusuf, so today we are missing Qari Yusuf, number one. He's not here, and I know all our audience normally look for Qari Yusuf.
If you can ask them if they can guess, where is Qari Yusuf?
Oh yeah. Where do you think Qari Yusuf is?
He's gone out. He's gone to another country.
It's gone to another country.
That's close, mashallah, very close. You want to guess which country, Yusha? Huh?
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia, that's
On
very
the
close.
Okay, okay, the country is right.
Mhm.
Out of the country was right. The last one is now going to be the deciding factor.
You don't know.
Saudi Arabia, which two cities are in Saudi Arabia that have
Makkah and Medina.
MashaAllah, very
MashaAllah.
good. You got it right, 100%. So we guessed it right. Where Kari Yusuf is out of the country currently. I don't know if he's joining us. Maybe he's joining to check whether we're handling it as best as how
he's
he does.
supervising us. He's going to report.
he's supervising us and he's going to give us a report on his return. So yes, Alhamdulillah, Kari Yusuf, Allah gave him the opportunity to travel and he's gone for an Umrah trip, Maulana Yusuf.
Correct.
And it's very closely related to the discussion that we're also going to have today. Inshallah, Maulana Yusuf.
Inshallah.
But before all of that, I think let's start off this edition of Jumu'ah Jewels with the recitation of the Quranic Kareem, inshallah. And for that, I ask Maulana Yusuf, inshallah, if he can recite some verses of the Quranic Kareem for us. فليتفضل مشكورا.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم هو الذي أرسل رسوله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله وكفى بالله شهيدا محمد رسول الله والذين معه أشداء على الكفار رحماء بينهم تراهم ركعا سجدا يبتغون فضلا من الله ورضوانا سيماهم في وجوههم من أثر السجود ذلك مثلهم في التوراة ومثلهم في الإنجيل كزرع أخرج شطأه فآزره فاستغلظ فاستوى على سوقه يعجب الزراع ليغيظ بهم الكفار وعد الله الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات منهم مغفرة وأجرا عظيما صدق الله العظيم.
MashaAllah, Jazakumullah khairan, Maulana Yusuf, for that beautiful rendition of the Quranic Kareem. Muhammadur Rasulullah. Maulana, it will be even more beautiful to hear you recite it in Salah and to be able to stand behind you and listen to that. Jazakumullah khairan to Maulana Yusuf for starting off this edition of Jumu'ah Jewels with that beautiful rendition of Quranic Kareem. And very related to this specific individual that's mentioned in those ayat that you just recited, and that's with regards to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, our Nabi, your Nabi, and the Nabi that has brought to us hidayah, and we hope to stay upon that hidayah right up to the day of Qiyamah, and until we depart from this world. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us all upon the hidayah and upon the way of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So alhamdulillah, during the course of Ramadan, one of these different things that happen in Ramadan. So, part of the aspect of fasting, that's everyone does the fasting aspect. And then towards the end of Ramadan, we see people going to sit into the masjid. And what do we call that, Yusha? Itikaf, mashallah, very good. Jazakumullah khairan. So, many a times in all our masajid, we hear people sitting, the numbers are sometimes vary, smaller numbers, bigger numbers. And people choose different locations to also sit in itikaf. So alhamdulillah, Allah blessed Maulana Yusuf Ravat to also sit in itikaf this year. And today we're going to go into a little bit about the details of Maulana's recent itikaf, his experience. And inshallah, he'll be sharing a little bit about that. Maulana?
Inshallah. So yeah, if you have to backtrack, at the starting of this year, I came and I gave a report back on my travel to Qatar. And upon return, I think even before school opened, one day I was just browsing through WhatsApp and there was this message saying, Saudi flights, sale. And upon inquiry, I found out the price. And anyway, that it wasn't really cheap. I went into the Saudi website myself and I saw the price about 5 grand cheaper than what the agent was offering, And when I looked at the dates or selected dates, often you would find on websites, you would find that, or with airlines rather, you would find they would be promoting certain dates and it would be changed. Like the dates they were promoting in January in comparison to February, in comparison to March, change. And I somewhat noticed this and I came to the understanding that, okay, they look at the the flight accommodations and bookings, and they see where there is a need to increase in terms of passengers, and they start promoting those days, right? But when I saw the date, I said, hey, this is the school holidays, you know, exactly when school is closing, and it's also the last 10 days and 10 nights of Ramadan. And I thought to myself, hey, what an opportunity if I could sit for Itikaf in Al-Masjid al-Nabawi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And this was my dream for many years. You know, as I was younger, I would sit in Itikaf in many places. Allah blessed me in the country when we were students. You know, I sat in the Itikaf. Was my Yunus Patel, Rahmatullah alayhi, Zam Abdul Hamid Saab, was Mufti Ahmad Saeed Mutara. So I enjoy going to different places for Itikaf. So for our young ones here and those viewing, firstly remember that Itikaf is an emphasized sunnah. One is you get a normal sunnah and an emphasized, a sunnah mu'akkada. Means the Prophet ﷺ said Itikaf every year of his life. And 1 year, the last year, they mentioned the Prophet ﷺ didn't sit for 10 days, he said for 20 days for Itikaf in the masjid. So it's emphasized sunnah to such an extent that it shouldn't be something that, you know, we should just think, okay, I should tick it off once in my life. Our niyyah and our desire should be that Allah should make it such that we are able to do it every year of our lives. And I shared this Itikaf with an uncle. I think his name is Uncle Dawood from Den Hauser. So he actually set our masjid in Nurul Islam a few years ago, but I was unaware of this step. And as we were traveling, someone mentioned to me that this particular person, Uncle Dawood, has set for 38 years consecutively for Sunnah Itikaf. 38 years, from the age of 17. And I asked him and he verified it. He said, from the age of 17, Mullah, I've been sitting for Sunnah Itikaf. Even during COVID, when the masjids were closed, I sat alone in the masjid. Right? In this trip, as a matter of fact, the brother was arranging their accommodation and their travels, etc. So I will speak about it a bit in terms of the process of registration for Itikaf in Al-Masjid. It's a very cumbersome and difficult process. So this uncle told the youngster who was in charge of the arrangement, they see, if you don't come right with the Itikaf, I will come to Medina, but I will find another masjid because I'm not going to Masjid my Itikaf. So even though I'm traveling for Umrah, I'll perform my Umrah, but Itikaf, I have to do it. He's also been privileged to study Itikaf in Al-Masjid al-Aqsa 3 times in his life.
Subhanallah.
So can you imagine this desire? And I was sharing with my Musallis yesterday that, you know, everyone has their bucket list and everyone has the stick boxes that they want to do in life and what I want to achieve. And this uncle's ambition and his desire is that I want to sit Sunnah Itikaf. I have been studying for 38 years until the day I die. Can you imagine? 38 years.
Well, just a thought of that crossed my mind, right? I thought I teach the smaller ones, right? And I think as a younger kid, you might be thinking, what is Itikaf all about? So I thought about it. I said, maybe we should, I was just throw a curveball a little bit here, that maybe for the smaller ones, what do we do in Itikaf? Or like what is done in the masjid? Like maybe someone will think that, do you read namaz all the time?
No.
Do you stay in the whole night in salah, whole day in salah? Because normally you think masjid and salah, like, you know. So Maulana, maybe go through for the smallies out there, what do you do in Itikaf?
So basically, the function of what you were doing in Itikaf, or rather the actions of what you will be doing in Itikaf, is what you would generally be doing in the masjid. So yesterday I had a group of smallies in Indonesia who came to visit our masjid from the nursery school. And I was explaining to them that salah is one of the primary functions, roles and actions in the masjid. But all forms of ibadat are also carried out in the masjid. So we read Quran, we make dua, we make adhkar. These are also the actions and the ibadat which you'll find in the masjid. So Itikaf means, if you translate the word Itikaf, it means to seclude yourself. Right? It means to come out. So where are you coming out? You're coming out from the world and you're secluding yourself in the masjid. It means you are sitting in the masjid, you are separating. Right? In simple words of understanding, we are separating from everyone else. So we're separating from our family, from our mother, our father, our brothers, our sisters. If you are married, your children, from your friends, you are separating from your job, or if you're in school, or whatever it is, you are separating. And you are now exclusively devoting yourself for the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you would enter Itikaf before the 21st night. Now, you know, in Islam, we start first with night and then day. So when we say the 21st of Ramadan, it first starts with from after Maghrib at night. So before Maghrib Salah, you would enter the masjid. And you would only exit the masjid when the moon is sighted, mashallah. When the moon is sighted. So for these 10 nights, sometimes 9 nights, depending on the hilal, you would now sit in the masjid, right? And what you would do in the masjid, as Ma'asali was saying, any form of ibadah. It will be the month of Ramadan, so automatically you have your 5 daily fast salah, right? Then you have your tarawih salah, right? And you will be in a state of fasting. Now, whatever else you're going to do, you have taken yourself out from the world, and now you've put yourself in the masjid. So now you have to be devoted to the worship of Allah as much as you can. So it does not mean that you can't sleep. It does not mean that you can't take a rest. It does not mean that you have to be involved 24 hours a day, because physically, as a human being, that will be very challenging and very difficult. But what it does mean is that now you don't have commitments, you don't have responsibilities, you don't have anything else to do. You got no homework, you got no work, you got no job, you got nothing. You're free. You are free. You have freed yourself for the worship of Allah. So now, as much of your day as possible, you will now spend in the worship of Allah. And what's also exciting is that, we have Laylatul Qadr, the odd nights. Now you are guaranteed, because why? If you're already in the masjid, you're staying every night in the masjid, right? So whether even there's one view to say that Laylatul Qadr is not only on the odd night, it could be on the even nights. So from all 10 nights, a person who's sitting for Itikaf, he will be already, by just being in the masjid, he's in the worship of Allah, he's in Itikaf, he's already guaranteed Laylatul Qadr. So imagine, you're already guaranteeing yourself. Why? Because now there was no chance of, oh no, I was at home, I said I'm going to wake up and I overslept and I didn't do any ibadat, or I didn't exert myself, I didn't try. Now you're in the masjid. You're going to be part of the ibadat. Some ibadat will be happening collectively. Everyone will be doing things together, like Tarawih Salah, maybe there's some programs. And sometimes you will find that there are ibadat that are happening individually. And you find people reading long rakats of Salah, making khatams of Quran. So you also then guaranteed, in a way, that you are guaranteed Laylatul Qadr. So in a nutshell, as a brief overview, this is what a person would be involved in. It's very nice, because why? Your mind, your heart, your soul is connected to Allah. And that it should be like that every day. But unfortunately, because we have so much commitments and responsibilities in the dunya, right, we don't have that connection with Allah. Now when you take yourself out and you separate yourself from the world, and you only have Allah in front of you, and the whole day only worried about Allah, and you worshiping Allah, and you're loving Allah, it's something that you really, really enjoy.
MashaAllah, very good, Maulana. That gives us, I hope our smallies out there who might be thinking what Itikaf is all about, would have got an understanding of what Itikaf is. And also, Maulana, sometimes a lot of people think about the aspect of Itikaf, that, for the entire 10 days, you're sitting in Sunnah Itikaf, that you don't leave the masjid at all, unless you're going to the bathroom, which the bathrooms are generally outside the masjid, Maulana. So remember, learners, so when a person sits in Itikaf, they stay in the masjid, and without no valid reason, like if there's no valid reason, they don't leave that masjid. They stay in the masjid, they sleep there, their meals are brought to them there, they eat there. So everything is done in the masjid. So imagine you're in Allah's house for the entire 10-day period. So you're only doing good actions, good a'mal. So that is the Itikaf. And Maulana, what about the ladies? Let's the girls. Yeah, how do they sit in Itikaf? Let's tell them that.
Many are not aware of the fact that ladies can also sit for Itikaf. So a lady can sit for Itikaf at home. So what she will do is she will identify an area, maybe a room in her house, right? And she will say, this is going to be my Itikaf's place. Means she will now dedicate a day and night in that place. And likewise, she will only come out of that room for a valid reason, right? So if she needs to go to the toilet, or if there's no one to provide meals for her family, she will come out to cook, etc. If she's married, she will take the consent, and she will take the permission of her husband. Or if she's a young girl, she will just sit. So it's open. It's, in actual fact, this sunnah of Itikaf was an emphasized sunnah. It was very well practiced by the wives of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Even after the demise of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Azwaj al-Mutahharat would sit for Itikaf. So our women folk can't lose out in this. In actual fact, we're going to speak of Itikaf in Madinatul Munawwara. And our principal, Maulana Wasim Lahe, was asking me before I left that, are there accommodations for female Itikaf in the Haramain? And to my understanding, I felt that there wasn't, because I've never heard of it. And when I reached Madinatul Munawwara, I had people speaking about, you see, they give you a tag, right? With your name written on it. So someone was laughing because someone had a female tag. So I was thinking, how you got a female? Because what happened is, those who missed the registration in the morning, at the end, they were just giving out whoever had it on their phone, they were giving them a tag, but randomly, anybody's name. So I could have Saleh Sobrat, they could have somebody else's name. So you didn't have your own name, right? So some people ended up with some females' names. So Fatima and Zainab. So I'm saying, but where's females? So they said, no, there's female Itikaf in both Haram. So there's accommodations made within the Haram where females can go and sit for Itikaf. Because I thought, okay, maybe a person goes to Mecca or Medina, maybe they're doing Itikaf in a hotel, like how you would do it at home. But to my surprise, there has been accommodation made for females to sit for Itikaf as well.
SubhanAllah, in the Haram. I never knew that,
I also
man.
didn't know that.
It's such an amazing fact that I learned today. So, Maulana, what's the process like, and how long did it take you to get going with your whole procedures to sit in the Haram? I mean, of course,
Yeah.
the processes must be great. There must be a lot of things involved in what you need to do to get yourself there. It's not just like you get on a plane and you get there. So I'm sure there's processes. Maulana, please tell us.
Yes,
about
if
it.
someone asks why Itikaf in the Haramain, right? So for the scholars have educated us that the most virtuous Itikaf is in Al-Masjid al-Haram, in Makkah al-Mukarramah. Thereafter is in Al-Masjid al-Nabawi Sallallahu. Thereafter in Al-Masjid al-Aqsa. Thereafter in your local town, your Jami' Masjid, or your big masjid, they will say. And thereafter any other masjid, right? That's the rank in terms of virtue and reward of sitting Itikaf. So we should all have this desire. And we should not only want to go for Umrah, but also to do any Itikaf in any three of the Haram. So in Al-Masjid al-Aqsa, from what I've heard from the brothers, it's much more easier, it's much more simpler, right? When it comes to the Haramain, Al-Makkah al-Mukarramah and Al-Madinah al-Munawwara, the process is somewhat more difficult, cumbersome. It changes. The process last year was a bit different to this year. But there is a formal registration process. Now, that process, people didn't know what's the process, so that's what made it difficult. And it doesn't open up long in advance. So last year it opened up, like just 2 days before Itikaf started. So for you traveling from another country, it's somewhat difficult because if you don't get registered and you don't get accepted, you have to then make plans for accommodation. And we all know in the month of Ramadan, it's costly and it's also difficult to find accommodation. But nonetheless, you do this, and I was explaining to someone yesterday that when Allah accepts you, and you're on this journey, there's a lot of buts and ifs will come, but what if does open? And then you just have to tell yourself that Allah accepted me and Allah will open up the roads. And as you go through it, you'll see how Allah opens it up for you. And that's the basic part. So when I started this process in January, I also had like, but if does that, and to believe, you won't believe me, Itikaf started on Saturday. I left South Africa Friday morning. My confirmation for Itikaf only came 2 days before that, on Wednesday.
SubhanAllah. So one of that feeling, that overwhelming feeling that am I going to be there? And I'm going.
But the beauty part is because you want something, you turn to Amal. So you turn more to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, sometimes you complain, the process was so difficult and it make our lives hard, which might be to a certain extent correct, but just look at it positively. The fact that you needed Allah more, you turned to Allah more, and that brought you closer to your Creator. Isn't it something nice?
Definitely, Maulana. Sure. So, Maulana, I'm sure like till the last day or last few days before you left, you were still like,
Yeah, limbo.
limbo. Subhanallah. And then, Maulana, your experience in during the Itikaf, how was your days? I mean, you're spending entire 10 days in the Haram without leaving that masjid, the masjid of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And I'm sure you might get the opportunity to go right to the front or be at the closest proximity to the imams at some point.
Yeah, so there's many things that have touched my heart in this trip and experience. Right? Number one, I was explaining to someone yesterday as well, is that the fact that you're so close to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So if you stay in a hotel, right, you would come for salah and you would leave at a certain point. You would stay, you would read Quran in the Haram, you would stay, but at some point you need to go back. Here you're not leaving. You're staying within the masjid. You're moving at different places within the masjid, but you can be as close as you want for as long as you want, because now you have dedicated yourself for that purpose. That for me is the be all and all. Like to be so close to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, having that full belief that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is alive in his grave, etc. It is there, right? That's number one. Number two, the aspect of mixing with other people. It's something that I personally enjoy. To mix with other races, other cultures, Muslims from various parts of the world. Then on top of it, in the month of Ramadan, just brings another flavor to it, the atmosphere, There's a lot that I've learned by just looking around.
Sure.
I'll share with you one experience. We just reached Jeddah and we were on our way to Makkah al-Mukarramah. And we looked at the watch and we said, okay, on the way, iftar is going to be during our journey. And we already at the back of our mind said, okay, we came with some pat course. South Africans, chows, you don't have to worry, right? Everywhere we go, chows are right, Yusha. So our wives and mothers, alhamdulillah, look after us. So nonetheless, the driver, he had this worry because now he had no food and he doesn't know we have food in the back. So he's like, he was to stop at the shop and we can go, worry, carry on, Faddal, we will sort you out. So and next month we see this car parked on the side of the road, and this person who's with his boot open, two brothers, not brother, I mean like two gentlemen, and they're stopping people. And when you stop there, they say, how many people in the car? And accordingly, they give you that amount of zamzam, kajur, juice, a small cake, or, a snack. And I'm like, it's not those ready-made packs. Like, okay, someone went and bought a ready-made packing. They went shopping, they bought certain items, and they made a niyyah that, okay, we're going to stop on the side of the highway, and there's going to be many people passing us at the time of iftar who might not have something to break their fast with, and we will give them. And I'm like, yeah, salam, like how people are just looking for opportunities to do good. It's like amazing. On this aspect of iftar, we as South Africans will always come and say, you know what, iftar in the Haram is the best, and we got the tukka, and we got the yogurt, and it's right? It's something that we enjoy. But just take a moment and sit back and look around. And look at the host of that sufra, right? That the dastarkhan, as they would say. He is the one who takes a responsibility. So people apply for this, right? To get like a specific section that they would take care of whoever's sitting on that sufra. And you will find people calling you, please come sit on my sufra, please come sit, right? That's number one. It's like this amazing. Then you will find this person who's also fasting the whole day, right? From after Asr, just engage in servitude. He's just trying to help people. He's placing things on the dastarkhan, on the sufra, and he's putting as much as he can, and they pour in the kahwa, and they pour in the tea, and they put in kajur, and they put in the yogurt, and they put in the dukka, and then the adhan goes, right? And you look around this man, he's still busy. He's busy eating his kajur, and he's still busy serving people, and then the adhan is finished, and people are finished eating, and he's busy rolling up, and after salah, he's still busy giving out things. And I'm like, ya salam, like Allah, like we also get this opportunity. We also go to a masjid. We also see people eating. But what's our mindset? I got my Tupperware, right? I got my samosas, my savories, and my chutney. I eat to myself and khalas. And look at their mindset, their attitude is like
to serve people.
To serve people. And it's not only because they're in Medina. I'm saying the fact that you're serving those who have been fasting. You're providing for someone who has fasted for the sake of Allah. And to such an extent that even when it comes time limit, night time for everyone to eat, even at that moment, they're so engrossed in serving people. And some of these people are very affluent and very rich and wealthy. And, to see them come down to that level with such humility, it's just amazing. And it really touches the heart to see that, that's the ukhuwah that we ought to be having, where we worry more about others, And even when there's no space, and you sit in and you think, okay, you know what, now the sufra is full. It's just amazing how people make space. Right? One brother will come in and be like, akhi, just little. And everybody shoves up a little, and eventually it creates one space for one
extra person.
And then you realize that how much gaps there are in between, or how maybe you can just slightly, narrow your position right, to accommodate for someone else. So you learn so much. And then another thing I'll touch on is that you see, apart from them just feeding, how they love to interact with people that have come from other countries. Right? So people who are sitting there, they will come to you, they will speak to you. Where are you from? Hey, how's your umrah? How's this? How's that? And they will ask you questions. Even though sometimes there will be a language barrier. They will be speaking Arabic, and you will see they're trying to converse and they're trying to speak to other people. Brother might be speaking Urdu, and you see different nationalities that, one day, there's a person from Kyrgyzstan next to me, the next day someone from Germany, the next day someone else. Wow. So I would also, sometimes people will find one sufra and they would sit there, right? And become mine. I would like to choose different ones every day to meet different people and people of different backgrounds, etc. And just speak to people. Although if that time is not a time to speak, right? So I'm not saying just go sit and talk.
Light conversation.
It's like conversation. That few minutes that you're sharing with someone on the sufra, it's something that you can learn so much from. And maybe I'll share one more because time is against us. You also come to realize when you go to the Haramain by seeing Muslims from everywhere else around the world that sometimes we live with this notion that we are pious and we are more pious than everyone else. And you get to see the piety and the love that people have for Allah and Allah's Rasul, and it's amazing. It's amazing to another level. Just for example, in Al-Masjid al-Nabawi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when we were there, they would read the Taraweeh Salah, right? So Taraweeh would take at least 1.5 hours. Then you would have like a 2-hour break, and then you would have the Qiyamul Layl, which would be another 1.5 hours. And so, and you stand about 3 hours, you're standing, listening to Quran, which is very nice, and it's very, and you finish the Qiyam and you feel like, oh, I've exerted myself, alhamdulillah, I'm spending my time well. And you come back to the tent, which I was also speak about, right?
Yeah, that's
you come back to the tent, and now you want to nibble, and you want to snack on something. It's like 2:30 in the morning. And one day we're looking up and you see this old man, and then to my understanding, you look like you're either from Pakistan or Afghanistan, or around that border, that area there, Kashmir, etc. And I see him start Salah. I'm like, okay, maybe closer towards the ending of Seri, people start making their Tahajjud Salah again. It's 2:30. You just finish 1.5 hours of Qiyam.
Yeah.
And you see this man stand up and he starts his Salah. And you look and you carry on 5 minutes later, he's still in Salah. 10 minutes later, he's still in Salah. At least 40 minutes, without exaggeration. This old man is in Salah. And there's probably 2 rakats, 2 units of prayer, 2 rakats of Salah for 40 minutes.
Yes,
And you sit back and you think, like, Ya Allah, I just had Qiyam for 3 hours and I thought I could have done something great. This man finished that and he started something else. And you just look at people's, when you talk of desire, right? So if I will explain to you, like the setup for Itikaf in South Africa, you would walk into the masjid and you would see what you see tents, right? So when you come to Al-Masjid al-Nabawi, so some places where there are many people sitting, you won't find tents because they can't accommodate approximately 6,000 people registered for Itikaf, right? Last year it was 3,000, this year 6,000, and there were many that never registered and who just came and slept. And it's admirable the fact that they didn't make it, but they just found anywhere in the Haram, and it's not easy, right? It's not okay, I didn't make it there, so I can sleep anywhere, because in the Haram they clear up the guys. The moment they start seeing people sleeping where they're not supposed to be sleeping. So, many times I was sitting reading Quran. I see a guy just put his head down. Not even 2 minutes, the guy will come, Yallah, Yallah, Ya Haji, and move, because why? It's not a place to sleep. Right? And that's his only place to sleep, because he's not registered. And then he will move from one place to another place to another place. So, illa mashallah, very few would get like a area where they don't get caught and they get the proper sleep for a few hours. So it's admirable the fact that the person still wants to do it despite the fact that he didn't get registered. So for those of us that have been to an ijtima, we would understand that the ijtima tents, everyone is just sleeping, and wherever you find space you sleep. It's that type of a setup. So on the roof of the masjid, right? So it's normal. Before it used to be in the masjid in the Haram. In Makkah it's in the new section from what I believe. So on the roof, right, they got like a tented section, which is safeguards you from the sun, but depending where you sit in, sometimes towards the ending of the tent, you can forget about sleeping in the afternoon because the sun is coming through, right? If rain comes, you have to clear out the whole area, all the carpets and everything. So one day it did happen, and because although it's a canvas tent, but water is such, Allah has put such power in water that to the smallest of holes of water will come through. So at times it gets flooded. But alhamdulillah, by and large, throughout the rest of the day, it's quite comfortable and quite relaxing. But when I say, when you, on the side of you saw a small space remaining, you saw a little bit of tile, and you said, okay, you know what, there's no place for anyone here. And you go to sleep and you come and you wake up and you see one guy fitted there. And people look for space like that. I'm serious. It's like, like sardines. And you're like, but how did he even fit there? Like, and you look at this guy and all he has is what? He has his ihram. Right? He's got no bedding. He's got no bag. He's got no provisions, nothing. He's got his top piece of his ihram and his bottom piece. He puts the bottom piece on the floor, right? There's a sheet, and he puts his top part as a blanket, and that's all he has for 10 days. And you think to yourself, like, and we say, why it's such a big desire, and I went and Allah accepted me and this, and you look at other people of the world, like we go and we already say, okay, we know enough South Africans are going to be there, they're going to smuggle food, eat for us, this one's going to do this for me, that one's going to do that, that one's going to... So in the first day when you go, they don't allow you in a bag, because they don't want, this one, you can come with a packet, and you can say that's your sleeping stuff, they'll allow you, but no bags, right, nothing. Some people get lucky in that rush, you sneak in, etc. But, the protocols when entering and exiting, especially with food. So if you get the food upstairs, then you're right.
Yeah, okay.
But to get it in, you have to smuggle it through.
I'm sure that food doesn't last for very long. You'll have to always...
Obviously, yeah, you can't, like in our South African context, you will find masjids that have fridges, microwaves, kettles. So there's no water, there's nothing, But like someone explained something nice to me yesterday, said that, in narrating all of this here, you don't narrate the difficulties to create despondency. But you narrate it in a sense that despite those difficulties, it was still so enjoyable. And that shows you in life, you don't have to have luxury to enjoy life.
100%.
They always talk of the man sitting on the side of the street having the best sleep of his life. And it's not a fairy tale. If you really look at it, that man, even though sleeping on hard ground, having no fear, and no stress, and no worry and anxiety and depression, he is having the best sleep of his life. Even though he's on a hard floor. So in that difficulty, you find ease. And with that, what difficulty comes ease. So someone said so beautifully yesterday, said that, you focus on a difficult portion, but did you realize after that how much more enjoyable your salah was? Or how much more you're connected to Allah in dua? Or how much more you love the reading of Quran? So Allah increases you in spirituality because of your difficulty. So rather than narrate that in the sense that, okay, we went through difficulty, but what came after was far greater. It even made you forget the difficulties.
Normally, Mona, they say the light at the end of the tunnel, right?
Yeah.
But this is like light throughout the tunnel.
Throughout
Like,
the
you know,
tunnel, yes.
even the, like, I mean, you know, it just shows the great love that every person has for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, for his city, for his masjid. That no matter the difficulty, I'm still willing to go through it. You know, like I'm still willing to go to love. You know, on the edge, to not know whether I'm gonna make it to be staying to be in Itikaf or not, whether I'm gonna get a spot or not. All of that, and then the person said, and you know, Mona, just talking about this, and I thought about it, and I said, over 30 million, they mentioned over 30 million people went through the Haramain during this Ramadan. And I'm just thinking that sometimes for us, maybe there was an opportunity, we went multiple times to the Haram, we went multiple times to visit the Haramain. But others, sometimes it's a once in a lifetime opportunity from their country, they're coming. So they, like, you know, that small space.
They come
that small space, it means that I'm in Medina, I'm in the Haram, I'm in the Rasulullah's Masjid, I've made it here, and I can, you know, love life with the fact that I went to Rasulullah's Masjid.
It's amazing.
You know, so I think it's all like, you know, as you're saying, that you being content with that, even the fact that I didn't get a hotel, even I just lived in the Haram, I was at that small spot, and that's what I you know, I was there in Rasulullah's city.
And the amazing part, you see, like many people who come without accommodation, or they come with accommodation that's very far. So we as South Africans sometimes find it difficult to understand, because our further is still Azizia. We don't know how far people go. Like in Makkah, in Medina, we don't even stay very far. Right? But you will see people during the day, even out of the month of Ramadan, during the year, you know, scattered out. And they be sitting on the floor and eating, and you think, no, they're poor. It doesn't necessarily mean they're poor. It means they book very far, and they make one trip for the day to the Haram, and they make one trip back. And that's the amazing part. And as much time as they can, they spend in the Haram, and very little time out of the Haram. Like, you know, we get involved in shopping. I don't say it's not good to buy things, but then once you get stuck into shopping, you just spend your whole time in the malls and going to this place and that place, and eventually you find you didn't spend as much time as you can in the Haram. However, I conclude on one more thing. You know, when you're talking of people coming from different places of the world, some one just for once in their life, etc. I was sitting one day and I'm just looking around and I'm saying, Allah, all of these people are your guests. And you look around, some look pious, some don't look pious. Some might be actually pious, some might not be actually pious. Some have beards, some don't have beards. Some wear kurta, some don't wear kurta. Everyone is different. But there's a reason within each one's life that Allah accepted him to come. And that's our dua, that Allah must give us such qualities that Allah loves, so that Allah calls us to His house. Because everyone might not be pious. Everyone might not reach the height of piety, which is the ideal. But there is some reason that Allah is calling this particular individual, especially myself. If I look at myself in consideration of my own actions and deeds, there's some reason that Allah calls you. And you must always ask Allah that Allah keep that reason alive and make it such that Allah, you will always have a reason to call me to your house, and you will never deprive me of ever being deprived of coming to your Haramain Sharifin.
Allah accept, Allah accept your trip, Allah accept all of those people who sat in Itikaf, whether you sat in the Haram, whether you sat in the local masjid, whether you sat wherever it might be. Allah accept everyone's Itikaf, their Ramadan. And Marana, how's your Eid? Like, we went to the Itikaf, and let's just end up on the Eid aspect. I think like 1 minute or 2 minutes, Marana, before we go into our Dhikr.
So, surprisingly, you know, talking of desire, right? So in Al-Masjid al-Nabawi, we saw some the night before Eid night, people were talking like, now what's the procedure for Eid Salah, etc. So they said that, you know, if you want to make it in the Haram for Eid Salah, means you have to be there for Fajr Salah, obviously. But you have to come at least by 1:30 in the morning. And you think 1:30 till Fajr is 10 to 5. Right? And for a person who comes up from Itikaf, you're looking for that breath of fresh air, you know, like, okay, just want to sleep little, have a pillow or something, you know. But you see people, I was actually late, I left them about 3 o'clock in the morning. And when I left at 3 o'clock, all the gates for the Haram were closed. So we walk right around from where we were, the hotel that I was staying. So we walked right down. But I know like some other family members, they went around 2 o'clock and they just made it. So it showed, because people from all around the neighboring countries also come for Eid, just especially for Eid. So it's packed, it's massive. It's a sight that, you know, it's like, it's something that you really want to see in your life. It's just people everywhere. And that Eid feeling there is very different. Even the takbirat of Eid, you know, having all the muezzins recite the takbirat is something amazing. And it took me 1 hour to walk to the other side of the Haram to find place, me and my brother, you know. So yeah, that was one experience. And then for me, alhamdulillah, I had my wife and my children and my in-laws and other family members that were there also for Ramadan. So we had like our own mini Eid. In Madinatul Munawwara. Some people spend Eid in Makkatul Mukarramah. But yeah, so we had some of that feeling. But it's very different to home.
Very different.
It's very different to home. But it was a nice feeling. It was a nice feeling in the sense that we had family around and we got to get that South African feeling of Eid.
Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, Allah accept, Maulana. I hope all of you had a good Eid as well. Maulana, our audience is, we're not asking them about
how was your
Eid? How was your Eid? What is the favorite part of your Eid?
I liked everything.
You liked everything?
Everything.
Did you collect Eid?
All the yummy food.
Do you like that part or do you like the food part?
Eid.
The Eid part, Maulana. And yourself?
Eid.
The Eid part. Oh, and yourself? The Eid part also. I hope all the Eid is going in the savings, eh?
Yeah.
Not spending on any sweets, eh? And then yourself, Yusha? Favorite part of Eid? Huh? Say like all of them.
Seeing my cousins.
Seeing your cousins. Okay, mashallah. Family there. And Unais?
Celebration.
Celebration. Mashallah. So you eating, getting the Eid, meeting people, everything was good. Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept everyone's Eid, Ramadan, Itikaf, everything.
Children are loved a lot in the Haram.
I know that.
A lot. Let me tell you one more incident. I think it will really benefit us. Like when we see children in the masjid, we become very negative and there's too much noise in this. When you see the Arabs and how they love children in the Haram, it's amazing. So my sons were there, right? And they would come visit me during the day. And there was one morning, my one son came with my one relative, and they asked me, they had a space very close to the road, right? So he told me, please, can you come sit in our place? Because my son needed to go to the toilet and they were going to come back. So as they were exiting, there was a group of Arabs, they were having seri. They called him and said, please come sit, come join us. I said, you know that hospitality.
Yeah, hospitality.
And this relative of mine with my son went and sat. And they asked my son, what's your name? So he said, Abu Huraira. So they were blown away that, you know, this young boy has the name of the great Sahabi, Abu Huraira radiallahu ta'ala an. And this Arab told him, the one Arab took out, you know, some riyals and gave him. You know, he loved children. So his father, this Arab's father, he said, no, such a great Sahabi was such a great name. You can't just give him this. So he called him and he said, my boy, I'm going to give you something that you need to treasure for the rest of your life. And he put his hand in his pocket and he took out a piece of the ghilaf of the Kaaba. And he gifted it to him. And they came back and now they're narrating this to me and I'm like, ya salam, like, you know, if I had a piece of the ghilaf of the Kaaba, even if I had many pieces, I would think on my child, my grandchild, my family, my friend, you know, like a random person in the Haram, and just because he's a child with a beautiful name, look at that hospitality and the generosity that they have. It's like it blows your mind to another level to say that. And I used to see this every day, how they love children. I used to see my sons there. They just, everyone used to embrace them and everyone used to love them. And I think that's something we have to bring within our homes, our communities and our masajid, that we have to look after this generation because they are our future.
100%. To be honest, the love for children, I've seen it in the Haram. I've experienced it as a child myself also. We're not going to that too much. We'll leave that for another time, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept your son as well. It has been a nice experience for him to receive a piece of the Kaaba as young as he is. And Allah accept him to always visit the Haram, inshallah, as well. Okay, inshallah, Maulana, we're going to make a short dhikr. Inshallah, we hope everyone.
This is the part
here,
we really must carry Yusuf.
come and sit here. Come sit on the couch. Sit, Muhammad, sit on top. On the soft part of the. Okay, inshallah, we're going to make a short dhikr. We're going to make a dhikr for a few minutes, inshallah. And I hope everyone else will join, inshallah. Bismillah. So inshallah we're going to start with La ilaha illallah. I want everyone to join with us, okay? La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah, alayhi salatullah, La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah, alayhi salatullah, La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah, alayhi صلاة الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله عليه صلاة الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله عليه صلاة الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله عليه صلاة الله بها يثبت الإيمان بها يحصل الأمان كرر أيها الإنسان لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله عليه صلاة الله تكرارها ما أحلاها ما أبهاه ما أعلاه تدني العبد من مولاه لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله عليه صلاة الله هي شفاء الصدور هي نور على نور ذكر ربك الغفور لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله عليه صلاة الله. Inshallah, we're going to read a short salawat upon Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد النبي وصحبه وسلم. And we're going to make a dhikr of Allah, right? Allahu Allah. Allahu 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 Allahu
الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا وحبيبنا وشفيعنا ومولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. O my most amazing, most kind, most tolerant, most forgiving Allah, Allah, we ask you on this auspicious day, Ya Allah, to forgive us for all our sins, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, grant us hidayat, Ya Allah, keep us on the sirat al-mustaqim, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, keep us with iman, death with iman, resurrection with iman, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we ask you from all the goodness that the Prophet ﷺ has asked you for, Ya Allah. We seek your protection from all the evil that the Prophet ﷺ has sought your protection from, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, those who are sick, Ya Allah, grant them shifa kamila ajila mustamira. Ya Allah, those who are in debt, Ya Allah, free them, Ya Allah. Carry them to barakah, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, keep them from your unseen treasures, Ya Allah. O my Kareem Rahim Allah, those who are seeking to go to the Haramain Sharifain, Ya Allah, open up their doors, Ya Allah. Make us all worthy of visiting your Haramain Sharifain as soon as possible and as often as possible, Ya Allah. Those who are seeking to go for Hajj, Ya Allah, open up their doors, Ya Allah. O my Kareem Rahim Allah, accept all the ibadat, all the Muslims throughout the world during the month of Ramadan, Ya Allah. Ease the difficulties, the plights, the challenges, and all the various form of difficulties that the Muslim Ummah is facing throughout the world, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, help and assist our brothers and sisters in Gaza, Ya Allah. Liberate the Masjid al-Aqsa, Ya Allah. Liberate the Masjid al-Aqsa, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, accept this dua as well as all our other duas, Ya Allah. تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم بفضل سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين.
Jazakumullah khairan for tuning into this edition of the Jumu'ah Jewels on this Friday morning. Jazakumullah khairan to my dearest HUD in Maulana Yusuf Ravat. Jazakallah to our audience here today who came in person to join us. Shukran jazilan to all of you and to all of our audience, our learners, our teachers and parents who might be joining us from different parts of the world. Shukran jazilan to you for joining us. I hope I kept up to the expectation of Qari Yusuf.
Like a wow.
And I hope Qari Yusuf will be back soon to fill in this
Inshallah.
position of his. And until we meet again on another episode of Jumu'ah Jewels, fi amanillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.